How'd do? I wanted to take a retro look at one of the games that got me into Warhammer in the first place, Space Crusade.
Space Crusade takes you into warp space to fight the force of chaos. Deep in a parallel universe where nightmares are real. Space Crusade, the ultimate adventure game.
And this is my very original version, which was about 25 years old. So I'm showing my age there. And I remember getting this one Christmas and playing it, and I absolutely loved it. It's an amazing box set. Everything that came with it, you could just play straight out of the box. Small bit of assembly, and it was great fun. If we take a look at the back here, we can see the scene as how it looks. On the zoom in of that, you can see just how detailed the amount of stuff you get with this. You get 50 miniatures, or Citadel miniatures, and we'll have a look at those shortly. And essentially a full game board with doors, scenery, and each player gets cards, and there's a campaign system in there that you can level up as you go on, and there's missions in the book. You can make your own missions. There were expansion packs. There's a Dreadnought expansion pack which I did have, but I couldn't find it. It must be at my mum's somewhere else. You've got the game boards, you've got 4 of them, and then you've got the separators for each quarter essentially. And each player gets like a little thing to track progress as they go along. You put little tokens in there and track. You get these little doors. You get little cards that show you about the weapons. You've got the concept of guns and how they fire. You've also got the concept of melee as well. And to be honest, there's some really good books that came with it. There's the rules and then there's the missions, but actually it's really good reading. I remember sitting up reading this lots and lots. Just understanding. It sort of explains about a Space Hulk coming down, and so this is what you're battling here, is you're battling on a Space Hulk. Aliens, it talks about the different types of aliens. Doesn't really go into the sort of detail that Warhammer has developed into. And then it's a 2-player game minimum. Generally you have 3 Space Marine armies and then 1 alien commander. And this is the alien commanders board, so you can see what to roll, how much they move and stuff like that. The great thing about this, it came with a lot of miniatures and a lot of different types. So you've got orcs, and the orcs, they look pretty cool. I mean, they're quite basic. You'll have to forgive my basic painting standards 25 years ago. I had a go at some of them I just left plain. But the orcs look cool. They're similar size to how the modern 40k ones are. Then you've got the Gretchen. Now they're pretty big really compared to what they are in 40k. The detail's quite low on the Gretchen or anything, but they're the one they get shot and blown off really quickly. The Gene Stealers. I love these figures, and I've actually repainted these in my High Fleet Kraken for Warhammer 40k. They are very similar, and I use them now in 40k and they're brilliant, but they're essentially the same. Back in the day, 25 years ago, Necrons didn't exist, but in this game it did have androids, and you've got these here that look a little bit like Terminators with guns, kind of. You can see there where Necrons have developed from, so I've put like a warrior next to it so you can see it's about a similar size. And then we've got the Marines themselves. So you had Ultramarine, Blood Angel, Imperial Fist, and each one was essentially identical. You had different weapons. Essentially you read the mission and you figured out what gun layout to take with you. If you're going to take on a Dreadnought, then you would have to take big guns. So that was quite an interesting part of it. You're planning what you wanted to take. The sculpts of the Marines, about the same height as the old school tactical Marines. So the size hasn't really changed, but the detail has. So there's an example there. And then if you put it next to a Primaris, again, they're bigger even more. And then the concept of chaos was in this game, because they talk about the warp a bit in the rule book, and you've got different Chaos Marines, and they look pretty cool. They look a bit like Chaos Marines do now. I've put an example of a Death Guard Marine next to them, and you can see actually they're very close in size and design. Finally, you've got the biggest unit in the game, which was the Dreadnought. It's basically Ed 209 from RoboCop, but it had interchangeable weapons. The game would look and start like this. The player has a docking station on the side, and all you've got is a blank board, and then when you get on, you scan your specs and you see blips appear on the board, and then as you see the blips, the blips are revealed as a unit. So there's a lot of stuff about line of sight, how your weapons work. So in all this glory I've got here, this really sparked my interest, and Christmas 2019 is when I got this back out and myself and my son played game after game over the Christmas holidays, and it really got us into it. And then in January 2020, that was when we went to our first Games Workshop store, bought a starter set, bought a Dreadnought essentially because we like the Dreadnought from this game, and that's where we got into building and painting, and then never looked back since. So if you like this kind of content, looking back at retro games, let me know in the comments. That's how we know that this is the sort of content you want to see from the channel. Please like and subscribe because it supports the channel. Hope you enjoyed it all. Bye!